Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Silver prices have been in a very shaky spot right now, a very interesting position. So I'm going to share what I think the prices are going to be doing for the month of December, especially since there's so many interesting things going on with Trump's impeachment, the dollar index, US-China trade negotiations, and so many other things. So let's jump into it. Now, silver is sitting lower right now today, just above $16, which makes it a lot more, I guess the word would be unpredictable, because there's support levels that it needs to stay above, and it is sitting above those support levels, but people are still a little, I guess, scared and finicky, because it could go a little bit lower. It could get to the mid $16 level because of several different factors. Now, Trump pushing off the US-China trade negotiations till after the elections is an interesting play, and it's going to affect markets for the better. So I'm not trying to sit here and say that silver's, going to be extremely profitable in December. There is some more, there's better things going for it than worse things. Let's put it that way. So right now, it's not a terrible time for silver. It has built a lot of support against that U.S.-China trade deal and stock market setting record highs. So I wouldn't be too worried. I'm not worried about silver's price. And this is the thing, is that you have to look at the bigger picture. Prices are going to go up, they're going to go down. That's any market, that's any investment, that's any asset across the board. So you shouldn't be worried or concerned about that. Prices are going to do this. This is how markets work. You can trade in between these markets and buy and sell at certain times and make profits, but most of you guys and gals are long-term stackers, so it really doesn't matter. Now, this is interesting though, because regardless of whether you are in it for the short or the long term, the end result's the same, is that you're stacking silver because it has intrinsic value, because it has value within itself as the dollar's depreciating. So even if prices are down, spot price is irrelevant, because what's really important, what the real value is the metal content inside of it. So even though stocks are setting record highs, that's pegged to a dollar, which is destroying itself. So it's in a self-destructive mode, which even if you do make profits from stocks, you're still in return getting money, fiat currency, which is devaluing itself. So it's a lose-lose situation. And that's why precious metals, regardless of the price, they're priceless. Precious metals are priceless, flat out. Even if silver goes down to $5 an ounce, what's $5 to an ounce of silver? That's the real question. I always make that reference to like holding a $20 bill in your hand and holding a 1 ounce silver coin in the other hand, and tell me which one seems like it has more value. The ounce of silver is much more valuable, especially in today's society, of what it can do for all the different uses that it has. So that's stuff to think about. Now, when it comes to price forecasts and price predictions, you need to understand that the prices are very speculative right now. These markets are in a very interesting place. They're in a very interesting spot. If you can start to learn how to incorporate the chart analytical standpoint from it, the chart, the statistics from that standpoint, as well as what's happening in the economy, then, only then, can you really start to see where prices are headed. That's the best way to really get a price prediction. And that's why I don't listen to a lot of these articles that base it solely off of charts, because what about the unknown variables? What about the unknown factors that are at play that are definitely going to influence prices? I mean, what happens if they do make a trade deal, or they don't, and it is put off until after the election? Those two different circumstances could highly affect prices, and we don't know how that's going to play out. So we really can't be too sure, but I will tell you one thing: regardless of how it plays out, precious metals prices will be affected for the better. Other markets, not so much. So gold and silver do have a better advantage of capitalizing off of these things. Now, when I'm also looking at price predictions or price forecasts, I see a lot of people over exaggerating the price, like saying that silver could be $100 by 2020. And that's unrealistic to some extent. I would say it could hit $50. Now that's still that's maximalizing it. I don't want to mislead my audience and I don't want to mislead my viewers, because that will give you guys false hope and it could build a resentment towards precious metals and you might get out of this market for good, and I don't want that to happen. I want you guys to see the benefits that gold and silver have, but this also incorporates, letting you guys realize that even when silver's down, all it is an opportunity to buy your silver for cheaper. If you could go back in time and look at when silver was $50, you would say, yeah, I should have sold it there. And when silver is $15, yeah, I should have bought it there. But right now, if silver goes to $15, you guys wouldn't think that. So what is it going to take for me to change the perspective to say that when silver's low, that just means it's an opportunity to buy your silver for cheaper? It's an opportunity to lower your dollar per cost average because it is going to go back up. See, that's the thing, is I think people have lost faith, or they don't have faith in the metals markets, thinking that when it goes down, it's going to stay down forever. But that's not realistic. You have to look at the reality of things. Take the emotional attachment out and say, yes, when it's low right now, it's going to go back up to $20 within the next couple of months or years, regardless. I mean, that's a given, especially with industrial demand booming, especially with the 2020 presidential election. So right now, I might as well take this opportunity, take this advantage, especially since I'm aware of this, where most people aren't. They're investing blindly into these markets, especially when it comes to stocks. I mean, you have to look at the future of your investment. Anytime you invest into something, you got to look at the potential of it. Where is this market headed? In gold and silver, especially silver, more specifically silver, has an extremely opportunistic advantage at play. I mean, it's extremely undervalued, but it's also used heavily in the technological world. And look at the world that we're headed in. EVs, electric vehicles, are going to be the everyday normal car in 20, 30 years. EVs are highly used with silver. So industrial demand for silver is going to be booming, but the supply is diminishing. So if silver is at this play right now, or at this case, then you can easily say that yes, silver has a lot of opportunity in the future to rise in price. So when it's low right now, why would people look at it as a bad thing? Are they losing hope in the markets? Do they think it's going to stay low forever or keep going lower? Because if it does go lower, let me tell you, it's only going to be about 20, 30 cents lower. I couldn't see $15 silver anymore. Silver's built too much stability underneath of it. But when is the price going to start naturalizing? See, silver's price used to be natural. It used to rise and drop off of supply and demand. But nowadays, it's more speculative, and that's the thing I don't like. But I can tell you that the demand is still going to be one of the biggest influencers regardless. It's just there's also this new wave of speculation that's coming into the markets, this emotional involvement. But that can be dangerous. It could be better. I mean, pick or choose. It just depends on the time and day. One day emotions could play, could be high, but it could affect the markets for the better if there's that safe haven drive that people invest into, or it could hurt the markets where people are more comfortable with the government or what's happening. So it really does depend. It just depends on the time and day, and you can play off of that and make a lot of money off of that. I mean, people that are trading, marginal trading from the ETF standpoint, definitely could make some money off of that. I am curious what you're doing. You could also use the gold to silver ratio to your advantage, buying, selling, or trading your gold and silver at certain times, gold for silver or silver for gold. If you're going to do this, I do highly recommend using Bullion, the lowest dollar over spot, silver, so you don't have to pay the extra premiums, but that's a whole separate video. So anyway, just to recap, just remember that prices do go up and down. It's nothing that you're never going to see again. This is natural. The price isn't going to be exploding overnight, but there is potential, especially where silver lies. So I am curious, I really am curious where you guys think silver's price is going to be at the end of December. Do you think it's going to be lower or higher, in the $17 range, or could it drop down to the $15 range? And more importantly, I'm curious why. The whys are always so important. What do you think is going to be causing the prices to move? Is it going to be this partial agreement or Trump's impeachment? What is it? I'm so curious to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, because I do post daily videos. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.